Hey guys, we are going to begin a new unit, and we're going to use our HMH, which is your literature book, the consumable copy you got at the beginning of the year. And this unit, which you will learn the title on Monday, is all about immigration, stories of immigration. And so a lot of kids don't know what immigration is. And I know it's been brought up a lot in the past couple of months with election and stuff. But if you want a technical definition of immigration, immigration is the movement of people from one country or region to another in order to make a new home. So, an immigrant, which is your next slide, so immigration is when you leave your home to go to a new country or area to make a new home, you become an immigrant. An immigrant is a person who moves from one country or region in order to make a new home. So when we're talking about immigration, it's the movement, and when we're talking about an immigrant, it's the person who is immigrating. Um, a lot of people are kind of wondering why would people want to immigrate, and we call those pull factors, things that pull you, the force that pulls you to this new area. And um, when you go down to push and pull factors, push is what, pushes somebody out of an area. Pull factors are what bring them into the area. So if you look at this, you can see that the push factors that push people out, number one is unemployment. People need jobs to survive. And if you look at the pull side, the potential jobs. Not safe. They move for a safer environment. That's what pulls them in. Lack of services, better services, for instance. Third world countries don't have sanitations like we do, and things like that. Poverty, um, you move for greater wealth, of course. Crop failure, if there's no food, you move to a fertile land to get food. And the drought, there's no water, so you move to get water. um, War and civil unrest. If there's war in your nation, you don't want to be around it. Your kids could get killed. So you moved for political security where there is no war. Also, hazards, dangerous things, and maybe you're isolated and you don't feel comfortable where you live. Another pull factor would be, your friends and family living in an area. So when we're going through this, the United States is one of the most immigrated to, if not the most immigrated to nations in the world. And kind of a symbol of immigration in the United States for so long was this place right here called Ellis Island. It was in New York City, and it was in New York Harbor, inspection station in New York Harbor where immigrants had to pass inspections. Um, so before you could get into America, you would go into New York Harbor and be submitted through the test and inspections through Ellis Island. 20% of them were detained for a day or two there, and only about 2% were denied entry. Um, when you got there, you had to go through a physical examination. If you had a contagious disease, you were definitely sent home. And these pictures are from the 1920s when a huge surge of immigrants started coming into America. But I wanted to show you Ellis Island because this island became a symbol of freedom and hope and the start of a new life for so long. And also, as you approach Ellis Island, you can see the Statue of Liberty, which reminds everyone that America is a free nation, and, is a land of opportunity. So what's the cool kind of thing is, like, you would never expect. They had a government inspector. They checked their documents. They questioned these immigrants to make sure they met the legal requirements. They must be able to prove they've never been convicted of a felony. They should show they were able to work and be a productive citizen, and show they had some kind of money to come and start a new life. And between 1892 and 1924, Ellis Island was basically the chief processing station for almost 17 million immigrants in the United States. So this was a huge place during this time period of 30 years almost, where people came in to become to the land of the free and this new opportunity. Um, but the survival challenges, you got to think, if you're an immigrant coming in, you have a lot of survival challenges. You have to find a place to live. You have to get a job. You have to try to understand the language and customs and adapt to the language and customs. And in this uh, immigration unit we're going to begin on Monday, you're going to see some of these immigrant stories and hear some of these immigrant stories as well. And my last kind of thing to talk about is America is what people call a melting pot. It's a mixture of people from different cultures and races who are blended together by abandoning their native languages and customs. Um, and unfortunately, many people refuse to give way to anti-immigrant sentiments, which means people were against a lot of these immigrants coming in. Um, that's where a lot of these nicknames came from. Like if you were Jewish, you were a kike, or if you were um, Japanese, they called you a Jap. So even though America is meant to be a melting pot, there is still anti-immigrant sentiments that do stand to this day. But we're going to read about a lot of these struggles of these immigrants, and I think it was real important that you guys kind of understood what immigration was before we began this unit. You're now going to answer a couple of questions that I have attached to make sure you were paying attention and listening to the kind of little mini lesson. And yeah,